He loved them. For 35 years, Michael Turner believed he had built a perfect life. A quiet home, 4 children, and a marriage built on trust. But one simple DNA test would reveal that everything he knew was a lie. Michael Turner lived in Cedar Falls, Iowa, a small town where everyone knew each other's stories. He ran a local hardware store, attended church every Sunday, and cherished his family more than anything. To him, life was simple, predictable, safe. Until Christmas morning, when his daughter gifted him a genealogy test kit. It was supposed to be fun, a way to trace his roots, to learn where he came from. But instead, it exposed where he truly didn't belong. Weeks later, the results arrived in his inbox. At first, he barely paid attention, but one line caught his eye. No genetic match to offspring profiles. He blinked, assuming it was an error. He tested again and again. Every result returned the same haunting truth. None of his 4 children were biologically his. In disbelief, Michael confronted his wife, Susan, the woman he'd shared his entire life with. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then her eyes filled with tears, and her hands trembled. And in a single breath, the truth fell apart. For more than a decade, she had been living a lie. Each of their children had been fathered by another man. Michael's world collapsed in silence. He remembered every bedtime story, every birthday, every graduation. And suddenly, each memory felt stolen. He wasn't angry at the children. They were innocent. But the woman he trusted most had rewritten his entire existence. The small town of Cedar Falls erupted with whispers. How could she hide it for so long? How could he not have known? Detectives opened an investigation when Michael filed a civil claim. A rare case built not on murder or theft, but on emotional deception. Detective Alan Reyes led the inquiry. DNA analysis confirmed the impossible. All 4 children shared the same biological father, a local pastor named David Cross, long gone from town. Susan admitted the affair had lasted years. She claimed it was fear that kept her silent. Fear of losing her family, fear of shame, fear of herself. But fear doesn't erase betrayal. The case made national headlines. Court filings listed decades of falsified birth certificates, emotional fraud, and psychological harm. When Susan faced trial, the courtroom was filled with silence. Judge Marianne Holt presided over the hearing, her tone calm but heavy. Susan's defense pleaded that love, not DNA, made a family. But the damage was already done. Michael sat motionless as his wife confessed. She said she never meant to hurt him, that she loved the life they built, even if it was built on lies. When the judge asked Michael if he still loved her, his voice broke the silence. "I don't know who she is." The verdict spared Susan from prison. She received probation and was ordered to pay restitution. But there was no sentence for the kind of pain she caused, the kind that rewires your entire sense of reality. Michael sold the family home. He left town quietly, without ceremony or farewell. His children, adults now, were left shattered between 2 truths. The man who raised them wasn't their biological father, but he was still the only father they'd ever known. In one final interview, before he disappeared from public view, Michael said, "DNA didn't ruin my life. Lies did." In the end, betrayal doesn't always spill blood. Sometimes it just leaves silence at the dinner table. And that silence is louder than any scream. What would you do if you discovered your entire family wasn't really yours? Tell us your thoughts below and subscribe for more true stories here on Awaken True Crime.